shadow. But now you're seeing the back of it, so that means there's some reflected light hitting it from back here, like say from here and from here. Okay. Let's say we got some light hitting it. Okay, it's bouncing off this. Oh, look at it. Okay, so it's bouncing and it's hitting this and bouncing back in. But wait a minute. If light hits here, heads back towards the cylinder, it does the same thing in reverse. So the coarse shadow can't win. It's not getting light from that side. It gets no light from that side. And then even when the reflected light is coming from this side, it's still in a location on the cylinder where it's going to only get a glancing blow. You see what I mean? Actually, you guys watch. This might be kind of interesting as a demonstration. I've got to move the light and I've got to move the cylinder a little. But I'm going to try and dramatically eliminate the problem with the coarse shadow, or the reflected light problem. So actually, everyone back about 5 feet. Okay. Watch this, you guys. Now, look at the value in this side. If there's nothing to reflect, the light just kind of goes into a trap. It goes into a trap down here, and there's no real way for it to get back out. So, guess what's happening in this occlusion shadow here? There aren't many geometrical options for light that goes in there to come back out in any meaningful way. So it kind of gradates. It creates like a, let me do it this way. You guys look at the occlusion edge in the shadow here. Do you see how it looks like it's darker and then it gradates out? That's because if light gets anywhere near that corner, it's hard for it to ricochet out effectively. Does that make sense? Fair enough? Did that? Okay. So I think that's what you're seeing. I think that's actually, you guys. No, you can't really see it unless you're right on top.
It's the dark spectrum of gradation.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Now, one other major thing I want to talk to you guys about while we're here is this. And what I want you guys to look at is I want you guys to look at the difference in the form. See the form shadow edge going along here? Look at how much softer it is at the base compared to the peak. Do you see how tight and sharp it gets up here? Why is that happening? Because the quality of that soft edge is dependent upon the size of the form. If you have something the size of the Earth, the form shadow gradation may take 100 miles. Okay? If you have something this tiny, or if you have something like this, these are form shadow edges off my veins. But they turn very quickly. If I go like that, those are form shadows. That's a form shadow right there off that tendon. That's a soft edge, but it's a very quick soft edge. You see it? Actually, guys, look at this. Look how hard-edged those are, but they're soft. And then how it softens as it goes up and my arm gets bigger as a mass. So, why is this relevant? Because if you're drawing something like this and you're drawing edges on fingers, they're going to turn quickly. You're drawing edges on a belly or on a butt or a hamstring. Those are the biggest rounded, uninterrupted forms on the body, those are going to be the softest edges are usually like right along here. Because those are the ham hocks. You know, does that make sense? The drumsticks. So, you know, you're drawing Barney from The Simpsons, and you've got a great big belly on him. If you're realistically rendering that, he's got to have a very soft edge on that belly to make him feel rounded. An elephant, very soft edges on that mass. Does that make sense? And the inverse is also true. One of my painting teachers had this great line that he would say that I've never forgotten. He said, if you want to know how good a painter is, look at how they paint noses. And what he meant was, non-artists often think, or non-painters often think the standard is, oh, those eyes are so lifelike. They follow you around the room. Okay, that's not a big deal. Eyes are a sphere. Any decent artist can paint a sphere. What happens with the noses, though, is this. You have a big form, a big sphere, that has one edge. You have two smaller spheres. Those have slightly faster edges. And then let me find someone here. Okay, can you come up and can you come up and stand next to me? Now, if you look at our respective noses, and look at this area of the nose. Okay. Okay. If you look right there, those are very soft. She's got a very broad, she's got a very subtle, soft nose there. So she's got very soft edges along here. You know, you're in between. Yours is a little more defined and a little narrower cylinder. And then mine have look at how hard these edges are relative to theirs. Okay? Those edges describe the form. And if you're a good painter, you can put them in, and you know about it. So that one detail right there, where people draw noses wrong, is they just go, ugh, and they just draw the symbol for the nose, kind of. Okay, good. Now that everyone has examined your nose, you know, probably your favorite thing. See, the great thing about having a nose like this is if you have a nose like this, as my mom put it, she says, if you can survive this, you can survive anything. You become completely immune to criticism of it when it's this weird. It's my mom's nose, and she hates it. She says she literally, I was born, they put me on her chest, and she went, oh my God, he's got my nose. And she was horrified. I could care less. I think, hey, it's got character, you know. Yeah, true. That is true. My mom was saving up money all through her childhood because she wanted to get a nose job. She never did, but she hates it that much. And see, the thing is also, I always like to joke, if you guys look in anatomy books, you know, see this little diamond shape right here? You'll see that in the anatomy books. The cartilage is there, you know. So I always joke that the rest of you guys just have fat noses with too much padding. See, mine is nice and svelte, so you can see the structure of it. Anyway, first time I opened up an anatomy book, it's like, it's got my nose. It was funny. Anyway, all right, coming back. You guys watch. So anyway, this is what I want you to see.
You have the Hogarth nose. Is that what you're saying?
No, God, no, not the Hogarth one. I have the, what do they call it? The flayed nose. Like if you take the skin off, what you see, that's, you know, and the fat. If you take off the skin and the fat.
What would you see?
You'd see basically these kinds of, actually go like this. This is always fun. You guys go like this. You can feel the point, so you can feel your little diamond shape in your nose. It's just for some of you guys, it's very subtle. See, what it is I don't have anything here at the lower part. You guys have some flesh there, so it kind of disguises its location. What? You can feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say?
Said I want to feel his nose.
Whoa! I can't go there. Someday. Okay, you guys, so one more thing, watch this. Now what I want you to see is, do you see how the shadow's kind of cutting a plane? The light's kind of cutting a plane through the thing? The only way you can really do that is with the Delilahs. You can kind of know what it'll do, but it's almost impossible to do it any way other than mechanically, unless you've done it a lot and you really know. You know, you'd never imagine that correctly out of your head. You see what I mean? You'd have to kind of calculate it a little bit. It just gets too funky. Oh, and watch this. It's a really stupid cylinder. It's a gnome cylinder. No. You guys, in answer to your, or in reference to your thing, be careful what you say in my class, because if you say something that I find very entertaining, I will find a way to remember it. I had a guy in my class one time, Dave DeAnda, who I still see occasionally. We were talking about ellipses, and he's going, John, what about like, and he was going like this, what about like a pointy cylinder? And I said, you mean a cone? And he went, yeah. And I've never let him live it down. It's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in the corner with a pointy cylinder. You know? So I still tease him about that to this day. Anyway, so that's that. One other thing I want to show you. I've got a faceted cube, but I think you guys get the idea. Think about if you had something like this for a second. We already kind of did it, but what would happen with something like this is you're casting the shadows of this. Oh, that'd be cool. You're casting the shadows of something like this, and what I would have you notice about it, you can see it better on the inside. Do you guys see right here where it hits the edge? It hits the edge right there on the ground and then comes up the side. When you look down on this, what you actually see, though, are two concentric circles. Or not concentric circles, but two circles that are overlapping. Yeah, it's basically a Venn diagram, yeah. So you're seeing a Venn diagram, essentially. And where those circles cross these points are where the shadows come up on the inside. Does that make any sense? It's kind of cool. You know, you guys have any questions about this stuff? Yes?
Can you?
No, you can't touch my nose. Just kidding.
Can you create a corner? A cylinder shadow in a corner?
A cylinder shadow in a corner. Okay, I can try.
Can you go over the difference between the oval and the...
Yes, yeah, I'll do that, but I'll do that on the down shooter. Yeah. Can I borrow? Yeah, like that'd be great. Yeah, perfect. Now I'm going to do it this way so it sort of casts it towards something.